Girls.com. Today I'm going to show you how to paint a waterfall. So I just draw the top of the waterfall cliff, and then this is going to be the foreground rock and stuff. Some tree up there, that's the waterfall, and this part is some rocky and plantation stuff. So I darken out with this using soft brush in Photoshop to get the construction value down, and then I use a darker value black to draw in where would be the crack for the rock and all that. Just kind of like simplify the thing. You don't like go into detail, just kind of using value and just keep going and refining the value of light and darks. So it's going to be a daylight, so up there is going to be some sort of a sky. We're just looking at the straight view. And now I'm adding in a little lighter color for the water, because the water is clear, but then when it's coming down, mostly waterfall looks like a bunch of sprinkle, which is composed like a steam that looks sort of white. So now I'm using the flat brush. You can squeeze the round brush in the brush option in Photoshop and make it sort of like a flat looking. And I'm using black and the rocky color and some kind of greenish color to establishing value right in the front. So now I'm drawing in right now I'm focusing on just the bead shape and not worrying so much about detail. Maybe I do a little bit of detail here and there after I get the bead shape done, just to see just to establish the value range in the front first, and then I'm just gonna go in the back and kind of establish the range of value of the one in the back. And it's good if you practice this and using reference and kind of like see if your painting is it's kind of like you're painting landscape. I usually do this most of the time, because environment is really hard for me because I don't do them often, but character is one of my cup of tea. Drawing people is easy because I have a lot of memory archive, but environment I'm still kind of weak. So now establishing like dapping paint here and there, and zoom out often and squint and see if the value is correct, if the foreground and background have the if you notice the one in the back, which is further away, they have a really limited range of value compared to the one in the front, which is going to have a higher contrast of value. And you're just kind of going in and put the plantation down there, painting some green. Don't worry about drawing so much when you're painting a landscape, just kind of painting with color and just play around with it. If you look at John Singer Sargent or Zorn, those two are my favorite, and also Craig Mullen at goodbrush.com. His painting is very inspiring too. You're just painting from the light. I mean, whatever you couldn't see, if it's dark, then just leave it black, and kind of let the color and value work itself into the shape, three-dimensional object that might convince the audience. Just don't go in and draw everything. You don't need to. And now I'm going in with the texture brush. You can look at the texture brush tutorial on my blog. So now I'm just kind of going in and put a dab of color in here and there, fixing the value range, see if it's correct. And now I'm adding a plantation in the back. And now I'm just adding more plantation, but not overwhelming the rock, because the rock is rock and waterfall is probably going to be the main element, and the green or plantation just kind of like the addition element to adding color in there. I mean, nature or photograph or something work itself in a good way. Like when a good photographer would pick a shot that have the major element, the secondary element, and the third element, which is not compete with each other. and it will make a really nice shot. Same thing as when you do illustration. You just kind of have to pick the focal point and the secondary, and don't let them compete each other. If you're gonna focus on plantation, then do a bunch of plantation and plant stuff. But this one is gonna be focusing on the waterfall and the rock as a focal point. So now I'm adding a bunch of plantation on the top, and I'm using like a texture brush and soft brush or airbrush to make the waterfall look a little more watery, and adding some whiter stuff and where it would hit on the rock, because there's probably a layers of rocks that the waterfall would hit, and adding some splash using the texture brush to mimic it. Yeah, I try oil landscape a couple of times. It's pretty hard. So anyway, here we go. Thanks for coming to visit iDrawGirls.com. Here's your waterfall. Have a great day. Bye bye.